On the advice of the security forces, I have recommended to the Governor General that a state of public emergency be declared in the Kingston Central and the Kingston Western Police Divisions. The Governor General has signed the proclamation giving effect to the state of public emergency in the areas recommended from this morning for 14 days. This will connect the states of public emergency existing in the Kingston East and St. Andrews South police divisions, creating an effective security corridor along the waterfront from Bull Bay in the east to Ferry in the west. The space now declared has seen increased criminal activity in the second quarter of this year. These areas, if left unchecked, have shown historically that they can spiral to chaotic ends, even having national disruptive impact. We are also observing that the gangs in these areas are not confining themselves to traditional geographical boundaries within community locations, operations, and affiliations. This presents the possibility of super gangs emerging through collaboration, and this creates a platform for the insemination of more nefarious and foreign criminal activity. We have also seen an increase in criminal activity in extortion, especially around the market districts and the South Coast Highway Improvement Project along the Harborview through to Bull Bay route. At the launch of this project, I was clear that we will not allow criminals or politically connected persons to extort, hold up, or otherwise threaten the work in this area in any way. This is a national project, and the government will deal decisively with anyone who seeks to disrupt or otherwise interfere with the smooth operation of this road development project, which has been long anticipated and extremely beneficial to the people of Jamaica, particularly the people of St. Thomas.
To the west, the boundary extends from the coastline by the Petrojam Oil Refinery in a northeasterly direction onto East Avenue, then onto Maxfield Avenue to the intersection of Russell Road. The northern boundary extends along Russell Road in an easterly direction from the intersection of Maxfield Avenue and Russell Road to its intersection with Lyndhurst Road and Retirement Road. The boundary then extends southeasterly along Lyndhurst Road to its intersection with Slipe Road, and southerly along Slipe Road to the intersection of Torrington Road. The boundary continues easterly along Torrington Road to Heroes Circle and continues along the northern perimeter of Heroes Circle to its intersection with Marasca Road. The boundary then extends slightly north along Marasca Road, then easterly along Connolly Avenue, then onto Dames Drive to the intersection with South Kemp Road. The eastern boundary extends in a southerly direction along South Kemp Road, then onto Port Royal Street to the coast. The southern boundary extends westerly along the coastline of Kingston, then along the St. Andrew coastline to the starting point at the Petrojam Oil Refinery. The state of public emergency will give the security forces temporary additional powers of search, arrest, and detention, and we believe that this is necessary in order to give the security forces the necessary space to carry out the operational tasks that will be required to help to bring a sense of normalcy to the communities affected.
So despite a national decrease in murders and shootings, the high level of violence, particularly in Kingston Western and Kingston Central divisions, is at a scale and nature that greatly endangers public safety. A few days ago in West Kingston, one of the gang feuds resulted in criminals setting the Rere Market ablaze, depriving residents in and around the community of their livelihoods. The criminals also attacked police officers who sought to save lives as they intervened between the rival gangs. Violent crimes, that is murder and shootings, in Kingston and St. Andrew represent 42% of the national figure. These criminal acts are characteristic of long-standing and deadly inter- and intra-gang conflicts, and these have been occurring across a number of hotspots in these divisions. Today, there are currently about 48 gangs, 50% of which are actively engaged in violent conflicts in the division. Similarly, in neighboring Kingston Central Division, there are some 32 gangs actively engaged in violence and violent conflicts. These gangs have established networks across divisions to fortify their activities. And there are a number of persons wanted for murder and other violent crimes within these divisions. This year, there has been an increase in violent crimes in these two divisions. Within the last quarter, we have seen a spike as gang members and gang organizations seek to benefit from extortion or through extortion within the market district and have created alliances that extend from St. Andrew South all the way across to Kingston East. 74% of all murders in these divisions are attributed to gang activities. When we examine the broader picture, almost 6 months into 2020, we see signs of success in the implementation of our policing strategies. As at June the 12th, major crimes have declined by 14% overall. Robberies are down 13%, break-ins down 23%, rape is down 29%, and larceny is declined by 32%. Notwithstanding this, we are seeing a much more coordinated attempt by criminal enterprises across Kingston and St. Andrew to coordinate their activities and create a much more unified response to how they make their illegal gains from these commercial areas. So despite the 32 illegal guns that have been taken off the streets in these divisions, the violence continues. Specifically with respect to states of public emergency, we saw early in the year an increase in Kingston East. For the first month of the year, I think up in January, a sharp spike in homicides occurred. We implemented a state of emergency, and murders are down 64% in Kingston East, and shootings have declined by 70% in Kingston East since its imposition. In St. Catherine, murders are down 14% and shootings down 24%. In St. Andrew South, the gains have been marginal, where murders are down only 1%, but shootings are down 18% in that division. St. James, which has been running for the longest period, is recording the lowest number of murders and shootings that it has seen in 20 years, and the highest number of gun seizures, with them being doubling the next highest division in terms of this seizure. We've also seen reductions in murders in Westmoreland and Hanover of 48% and 57% respectively when compared with similar periods before the declaration. And shootings are down in both parishes by 40% and 66% respectively.
Gangs, guns, and dons have been named and understood to be the core of the criminal activity in Jamaica. The 4 divisions of St. Andrew South, Kingston Western, Kingston Central, and Eastern Kingston has active in that area some 2/3 of the entire gangs in Jamaica. Intra-gang and inter-gang warfare and conflict is the basis of more than 80% of the homicides committed in Jamaica. We have noticed in this particular area, indicated, increasing alliance between gangs across community and geographic boundaries and even political boundaries, which signals a level of cooperation between the gangs as they struggle over spoils, whether it is for extortion or imported weapons and other criminal activity that feed the economy of the gangs in these areas. It generates increasing homicides. And certainly for this year, we have seen that the number of homicides in the KMI region has in fact stand more than 55% of the total for the island. The level of activity in the 2 divisions named this morning, which joins the state of public emergency in the East Kingston Division and the St. Andrew South Division, has seen increased activity and demands urgent and active attention by security forces in a targeted manner. We are confident that the security forces will be able to remove from the area the kind of violence producers that are continuing to create serious pressure on the people of the corporate area, and in particular the communities involved in these two divisions.
The public generally can assist by contacting Crime Stop or the police directly with information, by complying with the requests of security officers at checkpoints, adhering to curfew guidelines and other guidelines, and certainly by notifying us, the JCF, of any breaches of professional conduct by members. I have to thank members of the public for the information that they've been giving us so far, and that has been significant in allowing us to resolve a number of crimes very rapidly. So thanks to all the members of the public who have been helping us. Ideally, we would have 2.8 million people helping us in some way to deal with this scourge of violence and crime. The JCF remains committed to respecting everyone, observing the rule of law, and for being that force for good.